My family and I lived with a witch for 18 years. 18 long years. We shared our space and communed with a witch, and none of us had a single clue. Looking back now, there were so many red flags. There were so many unfortunate events that took place that should have at least ticked us off that something was not right at that season. But the fact that we were so much spiritually blind, none of us could see what was happening, and she wreaked havoc on us, on our life, and everything around us. Hi, welcome to Blessed by God. I am your host, Benita Banks. I'm excited that you tune in today. Go grab your snack, go grab your drink, come and join me. This is like a story time. Story time meets testimonial, how God delivered us by opening our eyes that to show us that we were living with a witch for 18 years. The way we found out that she was a witch is also just miraculous. It's just God's hand all over it. So come on, let's go ahead and jump into this testimonial. The story begins with the news of my aunt. One day she woke up, and as she was walking out the door, she fell down, and that was it. She passed away. The way she died was so mysterious. So at that moment, nobody even put two and two together. She had 8 kids, and she left behind a 2-month-old baby. And when the news came to us, we were devastated. Especially my mom was devastated. My grandma was also completely in wreck at this moment because she had already lost 2 kids before that. She already lost one, and my aunt was the second one because so when the news came to us, it was such a heartbreaking moment. My mom and my grandma were very much devastated because this was her sister, and my grandma already lost one of her daughters before. This was the second one that she lost. It was just a bad news all around. So the two of them met and went for the funeral. I know my mom was really reluctant in the beginning because we lived so far away where the funeral was taking place. My mom just told my grandma, like, why don't we just make our own wake on this side and at the same day as they're doing theirs over there, so we don't have to travel this far, because I also have the kids instead of leaving them behind. But my grandma knew that we had somebody to look after us because we were already also grown. She just forced my mom and told my mom, you know what, I have to be there physically. So my mom didn't want her to go by herself. She traveled with her to where my aunt's funeral was being held. Upon their arrival, they realized that the kids were so young, and that my aunt's husband was so overwhelmed at that moment because he had 8 kids to look after, and the baby grieving, all that. My mom and my grandma and everybody around decided that my mom needed to take the baby because my mom could take care of the baby better than the people who are left behind. So when the funeral was over, my mom decided to bring the baby back home with her, and everything was normal in the beginning. We embraced the baby. She was 2 months old. She had a different name. Her name was Chantal, which we thought Chantal sounds to be like an old people name. This was a baby. And we were like, okay, I have never seen a Chantal who's a baby. I've always known grown Chantales who are babies. So we decided to change the baby's name to Naomi. When we changed her name to Naomi, everything was right. Just keep that in mind because it will come back later on. Which everything was normal. We were looking after the baby okay. My mom didn't work in the same city we were living. We were in Kampala, and she was living in Congo at this moment. That's where she had her boutique, and she was building a house over there. Her life, like, she was building something over there because that's where she found success. And we stayed in Kampala because we were going to school and everything like that. She didn't want to uproot us. So We had now two homes. We had one in Kampala and one in Congo, where my mom was living and where we were living in Kampala. The baby was living with us. Things were normal at this moment. Nothing happened. I then all of a sudden, after the baby arrived in our life, we started seeing so much unfortunate events that started happening all around us, and we never paid attention to it because we just gave it justification. We always justified what was happening. The first event that happened is we lost electricity at home. That one, you can be like, oh, how would the electricity with everything have to do with one another? So that's the first event. The way we lost electricity is, I think the person who was renting before us accrued so much debt and they wanted us to pay for it. At this moment, we've been living in this house for almost a year or two. It's been a long time, and yet none of them had ever brought that problem before, until when the baby came, that became a problem. So we lost electricity. So now we were in the dark. We adjusted, as everybody, most people in Africa don't have electricity, so we adjusted just the same way, and life continue on. The next thing that happened was my mom's business. Things started falling apart with her business. My mom had a boutique. She used to travel to China. She used to travel to Dubai to go buy supplies and take it back. And she was doing really well. All of a sudden, the same thing that she has been doing all this time, she was been going to Dubai. This time she gets arrested in Dubai, saying that she had a faulty travel documents. My mom was, no, I don't have faulty travel documents. I've traveled with these documents before and everything was fine. How come now everything is not it's a problem? So my mom gets arrested. She stays in jail for about 3 months to, I think, 3 to 5 months in jail. As she was in jail, her business, the workers, the people she left back home with the business, they started squandering the money. Everybody was having fun with her money, so the business started lose. She lost so much money. By the time she came back from jail, money was squandered. Now she had to start picking things together. She started having fights with people because she had, like, she needed her money back and people were not paying her. It was just a big chaos around that event. And that started bringing a little bit of poverty into our household, because at this time my mom didn't have any money. So when she went to Congo, she would not send us money back that often like she used to anymore. And now that means for us who are living there, we were kind of scrambling for food, for everything else. So poverty, first of all, we have no electricity. Now we are lacking food in the household. Just this kind of event, to the point that we even lacked milk for the baby at that time, and the baby was living with us at that time, but we even lacked milk for her, and she was drinking milk, she had everything, and all of a sudden things fell apart. So as we are just my mom is scrambling to put the business back together again. We are struggling financially where we're living. Also, it became straining. So from lack of money, people became angry. My mom was not happy all the time. She was depressed, angry, and all the time, all that. My sister was trying her best to help us around, and the household, we just started having we had so much peace, harmony, laughter in our household. All of a sudden everybody was in their own corner. We barely spent time together. If we spent time together, we're kind of complaining. It was just the chaos that came into our household, and none of us could put one and two together. So we blamed it on hormones, for as we were fighting and not being together anymore. We blamed it on the financial strain. We blamed it on everything, but we just didn't know that something was off that was happening in our household at this moment. The second event that happened, it was sickness. We started getting sick. My mom started having migraines, and my aunt who was there, she had like acid reflux, stomach. I don't even know what that's called what's called, is it gastric or something like that? I have no idea. She started having that. It's just it's just the train of events that was happening. My mom had, it's one day she even had a very huge migraine that we thought we were going to lose her at that time, and she thought she was going to also pass away, and she started putting her affairs in order because it was bad. But all that, we were still holding on, and my mom ended up feeling better. Things, just the chain of events around our life, things just started unraveling. My mom and I and my sister were not getting along anymore. They had like they were fighting a lot, and then we have like, it was just like a backstabbing kind of situation where we have to kind of we had to choose sides and stuff like that. And it was just the events were not that great. That's just around the events. Now let's go to the baby herself. Naomi herself, was she was like, as a baby, the signs that should have ticked us off that she was an off baby was the fact that she used to pee on herself so much. Yes, it's normal for the baby to pee on themselves because that's all they do, but this one was different. During daytime, she will pee on herself, everything is normal. At night, every morning when we wake up, she would be wet from head to toe. She will be pale, skin will be so pale, like somebody who had passed away in the water. Like, she will be so pale that to the point it took her a while for her to recover her skin back because of how much wet she used to get. And we actually nicknamed her Fish because we were like, you sleep in water? That's how we kept asking ourselves every morning. We're like, how do you, like, you lift up her bed, it's trenching with urine. I'm like, how do you bed wet? Like, how can a baby like you, this seems like you just dehydrated yourself. You should be out there, like, you should be dehydrated at this moment, because how pale she would be, how wrinkled her skin will be, like somebody who has been in the water. Like when you wash dishes or you do something with your hands in the water so much, those wrinkles you get, that's how she could wake up every single morning looking like. And to us, that was just normal. She's a baby, she bedwets, she just overdoes it. But that was one of the signs. The second sign that happened is when she was about 9 months, 10 months, she was crawling. I think she was crawling at this moment. She decided to crawl away. I was looking after her. My mom was sitting on her. She just came back from one of her trips. She was sewing. She used to sew. She was sewing on a balcony. I was holding the baby with me, sitting down. The baby just, for a small moment like this, a baby crawled away, and she fell. As she fell down, she had a cut on her head. And that cut, she started bleeding a little bit. My mom was so angry. She yelled at me and all that kind of stuff, and took the baby, wiped the blood, and tried to take care of her, the cut. And that was it. The cut healed, but she had a scar from the cut. The scar wasn't very big, but it kind of went up. But that scar never disappeared. As an adult, I have so many bruises and scars from childhood that I could no longer see them, because I was so young at that time. Like, I heal, even the scars disappear. For the childhood scars disappear, especially from a 10-month-old. You will expect that one to disappear with time. That scar never disappeared, and she has it up to today. Like, that scar never disappeared. So that was also another strange thing that was happening with the baby. The third thing that happened with her is when she was being potty trained. My sister literally says, like, she was being potty trained at this moment, and yet she didn't want to use the potty. She never used the potty. We were forcing her to use it, but she could not. One day, this girl goes and does number 2 in a cup. cup, like a drinking cup, the one you have, a very tiny cup with a handle. She goes number 2 in it. We were like, you have a party right there that is bigger than this cup. How did you aim here and you couldn't aim there? So that was really strange. And that day, my sister was really angry at the baby, and she was like, "How could you do this?" And it was bad. We had to throw away the cup, but at the same time, that was kind of a strange thing. We were like, "Oh, you know how to aim. You cannot aim on something big, but you can aim in something even smaller than what we are giving you." That was another strange thing. So the chain of events continue on. Our house, no peace. At this moment, we reached to the point of dividing. My sister was so angry at my mom. My mom was angry at my sister. Everybody, they stop speaking to each other. My sister moves out of the house. She goes living somewhere, and she never spoke to us for a very long time. We had no idea where she went, because at this time she was very angry, and my mom didn't even care to look for her because she was also angry at that moment. So everybody was just, the family started breaking apart. My brother was at this moment going to college, so he decided to move out, go live in the campus. My sister and I moved to Congo now with my mom, the baby, and we had another aunt who was living with my mom at that moment. We all pack up, we go to Congo, and we started living over there because life had to continue. At this moment, family is broken. Even when we were in Congo, just me and my sister could get along, but our mom could not get along with us. It was just a weird time, and we just blamed it on puberty. We blamed it on hormones. We had so much blame, except the reality of what it was going on. As we were in Congo, this girl, she was now about 3 years old or 4, something like that. She was still young, but she was living her own life. This girl could disappear on us. You wake up in the morning, the girl disappears. You will look all over the star, like you will look all over and you can't find her. The only place you find her is in very sketchy homes. The homes where other kids run away from. That one house that looks so dark, that looks so sketchy. Everybody doesn't want to go there. That's where you'll find her. And you ask her, "What are you doing here?" She's like, "Oh, this is my friend's home." You are 6 years old, like 3 to 5 years old. How do you have a friend who's that old? And we would never put that together. We would just con her and bring her back home, and that would be it. But that continued on. And what happened, we started also having another series of events, strange noises. At home, we had, African ceilings. At night, we could hear like somebody is walking on our ceiling. We would hear like some people are running. It's like playing. And then when you go out, you see no one. You will hear sounds without seeing a single person. So we kept asking ourselves, we're like, what is this? And she would be asleep. She would not even hear a single thing every night. Some of us would even sit down. Like, I wake my sister up. I'm like, "Do you hear this?" And she's like, "Oh my goodness, I could not sleep." We are all here sitting down. We look at her. She's gone. She's not hearing a single thing that is happening there. And then one day we woke up. It was around exam time, so we were trying to study for the exam. We wake up at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. So we wake up very, very early to try and study. As we are studying, we could hear the party, like there's drums, like there's so much noise. It's like somebody's actually having party outside. Only to open up our window to look down, there's no one, 0 person. Like, we keep seeing these strange events, and at this moment we're just like, you know what? We were non-believers. Also, we went to church, but we never knew what we were doing. As you know, I didn't receive Christ until like 3 years ago. At this moment, I used to go to church, but I was not really a Christian. So we didn't even put two and two together, because witchcraft at this moment is just like a story that people tell us, like, oh, this, oh, they found a witch, or witchcraft like this. To us, we used to watch it in movies, we used to watch it in Disney and stuff like that. Just, it just made it seem like it's trivial, it's absolutely nothing. It's not knowing that we were actually living with one in the house. All right, so to continue on, this video is getting to be longer. I didn't want it to be so I'm going to end here with part one. Please stay tuned for part two so we can continue with this story.